Tuned in to a Grown Folks production. In the mix with the commish, Nate.
All right, welcome everybody to Press Pass Live. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. As you can see, I am not by myself, so welcome to the OMFL, the world's longest online CFM. We are 22 years strong and in season 100, and because we are in season 100, I'm trying to do more and more special things like have guests, which always seems to be one of the favorite things that we do here. So let me welcome in my guy right now. We're going to start off the show hot with some hot seat. Welcome in Coach Priest of the Green Bay Packers. Coach Priest, how's it going tonight, man?
Not bad, Nate. It's good weather today up here in Ontario, so I'm glad for that.
What is good weather? Is it like only 20 degrees instead of negative 50?
Yeah, it was like, I think, 12 today, 13.
Is that real? Are you being serious?
Yeah.
So 12 degrees is good weather.
Yeah, it was good for me.
It's mind-blowing to me. I can't even wrap my head around it. Well, Priest, thank you for joining me tonight. Before we get into OMFL stuff, you and I were chit-chatting about all of the things that you're involved in. You're a coach of a football team. Tell people a little bit about it.
Yeah, we're the NFC. Basically, you got the NFL, you got the CFL, then you have the NFC, which I coach. We're just coming up here today. I had my first, call it unofficial camp. I just brought my receivers and quarterbacks out, did a route tree session. I'm bringing in a new playbook. It's the West Coast, so it's really in depth. So I got the 2 months, April and May, to get them ready to rock for the first home game.
And you don't,
but it's nice to be back, man. 2 years off the grid.
You played in this league, right?
Yeah.
As nose guard for like how long?
We're on our 14th season. I played about 8 seasons.
And how many seasons you been coaching?
I started coaching on my 7th season, so I've been coaching almost probably 10 years now. I coach SMA too, which is a youth league after this league right away, which is cool. It's back this year too.
That's super cool. And like, you don't get paid for any of this. You were telling me like this is completely free.
It's just my passion, so I got to do it.
But the guys, they don't get paid either. They actually pay to play here.
Yeah, it's $400 a person to play. You got to get your own gear too, right? So the good thing about our team is we have gear, so all other teams mostly don't, but we're stocked usually. We get sponsors to help us out too, which is nice.
And first year's head coach, right?
Yeah, I've basically been the head coach for like the last 5 years, but I'm finally I'm the head coach. So I get to run it my own way.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Yeah. Let's dive into your Green Bay Packers. Let's go ahead and get this one going right off the chute. We're going to go ahead and announce this thing live right here on Press Pass Live. But Priest, like 6 other dudes, so Priest isn't like all by himself with this, but Priest with like 6 other guys got the whole bonus, salary cap space, this bonus, that bonus, penalty. He got all of that confused, which is why I spent time on it last Press Pass Live, because he is not the first and will not be the last, I'm sure. And because of that, he went over, but he was glopped in with like 7 other dudes, and 6 of them were like brand spanking new. And I felt like if I was going to give them a pass because they were brand new and probably didn't even have anything to do with their cap situations, then I need to lump Priest into that. And then I got called out on it. And so Priest and I actually had like an adult conversation. This is one thing that I love doing, these like interviews and trying to get people on camera. We tried to get Roger on camera last week and we just couldn't get it to work because I think it like humanizes everyone. And once you like get on video and get on audio with people, like this whole like stuff that we do to each other in DMs, that kind of goes away because we would say things there that we would not say in person to people. So anyway, Nate's preaching here, and I don't mean to be. I'm trying to say we had a really adult conversation. He's like, look, just suspend somebody. We agreed. It's going to be Tracy Donald. He's going to be suspended for 4 weeks starting in week 6. So 6, 7, 8, and 9 for breaking the cap penalty rule. So that owner who messaged me, I hope that we're good now and that you see that I'm holding people accountable and not always just a nice guy. But let's talk about your team, Priest. Lots of turnover. We went new quarterback several seasons ago, but this season we bought in the guy that everyone in Louisiana will always love as a legend, Mr. Joe Burrow. Tell me about him.
Let me just get to him here. Hold on. No.
And while Priest is talking, we're going to go back and forth,
Joe
forth
Burrow,
and back
he,
between things.
Everybody. Seven. I'm happy. And his completion percentage is way better too. There's still, out of those 7 interceptions, I'd probably say 4 I shouldn't pass, but I'll still take 7.
What has Joe done to your offense? Like just season 1, what has he kind of changed for the offensive scheme with the Packers?
I brought a whole new. I was getting sick of, I guess not losing, but just sick of doing stupid things. So I changed my whole system. I brought in the Raiders offense. So kind of doing basically kind of the same thing I'm doing with my real team in real life. Run the ball. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna run the ball until you stop me. Then I'm gonna run the ball some more. And then Burrow will throw maybe 15 passes a game. If I lose, I lose, but I was losing the last 3 seasons. It's not because of my defense. It's because I give you the ball with an interception, and you only got to go 10 yards to score on me. So if I cut that out, it keeps me in all the games and hopefully can prevail and make the playoffs.
Marion Clancy, a rookie that you drafted this year. Tell me all about him because he has been all the rage for your team.
This dude is just, he hits the holes like, he reminds me of Goody, but just a little smaller and quicker. He's averaging 140 yards per game. I think the only team that's kept me under 100 was last week against the Titans. He's got 702 yards in the 5 games. He's doing really well. He's fun to play with, too. You got to love when you have players that you love playing with. It's like that one receiver I got back a couple cycles ago. I forget his name, but I love that receiver.
Let's talk about your receivers right now. Of course, Tracy Donald's going to go out with a suspension, but you, in the past, Mads, you've been one of the guys who go get a quarterback, go grab a bunch of fast receivers, and just chunk the ball all over the field. But so far this Madden, outside of Tracy Donald, who is not the prototypical Priest wide receiver, only 89 speed, he's not the 94, 95 speed. What has changed with the wide receivers?
Well, we got Robinson. He's pretty much, if I need a play, he's like Adams for me. Like, he'll catch it. I actually started, I just wanted to see how he did because he's been on my roster. I picked him up last draft, Brian Burrow. I started him for like the first 2 games. He got 4 receptions, 97 yards, but he dropped a couple on me. So he got pushed down. And then I started Joe Hayden in his place, and he's 4 for 145 for his first game. So Hayden just locked number 2 slot, and then we got Tanyan, who gets open for me as well.
Priest, this offensive line is terrible. What's up with it?
My offensive line?
Yeah.
I think I got one of the best in the league.
Well, tell me about how they're playing, because right now I'm just going to call out their overall 72 at left tackle, 89 at left guard, which is pretty good, 72 at center, 74 at right guard, 72 at right tackle. That is 4 players under 75 starting on your offensive line, and maybe
So
they're playing way better.
It's basically left side is dominant. I lost D back because I clicked that button last season, but that cleared up a lot of space, so I was kind of happy. So I got rookies pretty much both everywhere but Jenkins. But for what Clancy's doing and the holes they're opening up, I'm happy. I wouldn't be happy, obviously, if they weren't opening the holes up, but they're playing better than what the stats are showing. That's for sure.
Let's talk about your defense. You've got speed at every single level of this defensive side of the football. What has been the biggest surprise for your defense this year?
Pressure's been nice. My secondary is playing well. I think the Titans knew my weakness. I have one weakness on my defense, and he exploited it the whole game. I'm not going to say, because if you don't know, you don't know. But yeah, everywhere but that position, I don't know. I have a good player there, but he's not living up to his name.
Damian Hooks, is he one of the most underrated safeties in the league?
Oh, I think so. He didn't play as well I wanted his first season. He still wanted the award, but this year he's like all over the place. Interceptions, tackles. He's pretty much leading my defense right now.
2 kickers on this team. What's up with that?
Well, I'm not allowed to release anybody. And I wanted to chop Crosby, but I can't, so Crosby's for the ride. I picked that rookie up off the waiver wire, and he's actually doing pretty good.
All right, your Packers came out really hot out of the gate. I'm trying to get over here to your standings. You're sitting at 2-3. Tell me about your season. Been a little up, a little down, but you're sitting in a division. Trey's had to step back. He's stepping back in, so things are going to heat up there. Bears are they're struggling out of the gate. Vikings are struggling out of the gate. So you're actually technically in the lead right now. But tell me about your season so far. You've lost 2 in a row.
Well, the one was against the bloody computer, one of them. They just got momentum. It was against the Lions. He literally, I was winning, and then all of a sudden, I had him 3-30, throws a fucking 70-yard bomb, touchdown. Same play, I do a 3-and-out, did the same. They did it 3 times in a row for that. And that was after that, I was like, all right, computer gets momentum, you're done. You're done. You're not coming back. The Titans, he just chewed me up. I fought back, though. He only won by 2. He was up like 21 points at one point. Clancy brought me back into that game. And then I beat a computer, and then I beat the Bears. So I just don't want to play any more computer games, guys. So let's schedule some games, okay?
Darius Smith, 6 sacks. Gary, 4.5 sacks. Thornton, 2.5. Curtin has got 2. This defense is getting a lot of pressure. What has changed to get all this pressure?
I don't know. Half of those are computer because I play linebacker now a lot. I hated it, but I love it now because I started getting interceptions, and it's kind of fun when you get the interception. But what I hate is when you're user and then you're going to get an interception, your dude doesn't do anything when you press triangle.
That's the best.
So I've got burnt. So I try to do I'll go there, I'll sit at linebacker for a while, and then I'll come back down the line. I kind of save my line for when I want to use it. You know what I mean? Because then it doesn't look bad. I'm good at user and end. So I don't want to overstep the line on that.
Here is your schedule. You dropped one to Penguins and the 49ers. We're going to talk about him later on the show.
Away. I got like 6 away games.
That was a really close game that got away late, but it was a much closer game. I watched this one than the score would indicate. You pick up a win against the Rams at home, a win against the Bears at home, but then you dropped that game that you talked about to the Detroit Lions, CPU, on the road, and then you dropped a 2-point loss to the Texans on the road. What happened in that game against Houston?
He picked me apart in the short game. He just got up on me quick, and he took me out of my Like I want to run, right? So, I still stay with that. I didn't get out of that. Normally, any other time, I'd say, all right, screw it. I'm going shotgun, chuck it up, and throw for fucking 7 interceptions. So instead, I stuck with my game, and Clancy brought me back into it. He stopped him at probably the first quarter. I was only getting 2-3 yards, but then he started getting 10, 15, 60. Eventually he broke open. You just got to give it time.
Here's your upcoming schedule. I want you to tell me what you think a realistic record for the Packers is going to be. You're at the Seahawks and Mo Deli. He could be dangerous. You're at the Tennessee Titans and Little Koch. We've seen what he has done. Then you're at Steve and the Colts, who is actually MIA right now. So I hate to be the one to tell you.
No.
I don't know where he's at, and he hasn't answered in like a week. And so we don't know if something happened or that might be a CPU game. And then you got Kevin. You're on the road to visit Kevin and the Eagles.
Those are all road games. Thanks, Madden.
Yeah. Well, the Colts game, you're at home. On the road against the Eagles. At home against the Lions. Trey's back. On the road against the Bears. Duval owes you. Then you get your bye week. So a super late bye week. And then 2 games on the road, Vikings and Cardinals. Those are going to be tough. Then at home against the Vikings, Jaguars. Doesn't get any easier for you. And then it kind of lightens up just a little bit. You get the Bills and then the Buccaneers to end the season. What is a realistic opportunity for your Packers to end this season with?
I need 10 wins. That's my goal. I want 10 wins. 10 wins gets me in the playoffs, I think.
Clancy, is he the Rookie of the Year this year?
I don't think anybody. I think he might even get Player of the Year if he keeps it up.
Wow, Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year. Well, Coach, thank you for spending time with me. Before we wrap up the interview, though, we like to end in a little word association. So I just want you to tell me the first word or phrase that pops in your head when you hear things like Marion Clancy, not Maurice, Marion Clancy.
Stud.
Arizona Cardinals.
Beatable.
Detroit Lions.
Beatable.
NFC North.
Up and coming.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Tough, but people play them the wrong way. Beatable.
Playoffs.
You're going to see a lot of new faces.
10 wins.
Doable.
Sim mode.
Love it.
Offense or defense?
Defense all day. Wins championships.
Linebacker, DB.
Linebacker.
Linebacker, defensive line.
Nose guard.
Man or zone?
Man.
Man or blitz?
Man.
And finally, the OMFL.
Brotherhood.
Priest, you're the best, man. I always enjoy when you come hang out with me. Priest is thinking about doing some commentary on some games. He's got to play with it to figure it out, so I'm going to send him some things. But if you guys want to see Priest commentate on some games, let us know in the chat. Let him know in some DMs, and maybe even go team up with him. We've got some really talented guys here that could go and team up with him. Priest, I'm a big fan of you, man. I always appreciate you coming on the show, and hope you have a great week, my man. And hopefully it gets over 20 degrees there, because that's stupid.
Thanks for having me, Nate. Peace. Ciao.
All right, buddy. There you have it. Priest, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Priest. And there was a lot of me that wanted to ask him about the chunk it up and pray and just hope that it all comes together. But I didn't do it. Thank you guys for telling me in the chat that you could not hear him because I realized that I had not added him to that scene, and so it was impossible to do what I needed to do because you guys couldn't hear him because I didn't add him to the scene. So I love Priest. You're just a ton of fun. 2 great interviews with Raj and Priest this week. and hopefully I can keep finding more. I know it's hard. I know it's late. I know I talked to a couple of guys, or at least one other guy, is just like, it's too late for me, and so maybe I can figure out like a pre-recorded thing, which isn't quite as fun. But I don't know. Well, I'm gonna think through it, but I'd love to find more and more guys that can come and do these with me, because they're a blast whenever we can do them. All right, let's look at some games this week, and then we're going to get back over to Nate's OMFL Power Rankings. And then after the Power Rankings, we're going to open up the mailbag. And then after the mailbag, a little commishes corner and get everybody out of here. I was telling Priest this. I had the bright idea. This is not what I want. I had the bright idea of pulling 5 hours of yard work this morning after preaching. So I got up early this morning, did a live stream, preached for 40 minutes. I didn't preach for 40 minutes, but it's about an hour and a half total for me to get up, get things set up, go live, do what I got to do, take everything down. About an hour and a half. I only preached about 25 minutes of it. And then after that was over, I decided to go in the yard and do some yard work with some of the new equipment that my wife bought me. Thank you. And 5 hours later, because the winter is over and the spring is here and things are growing and overgrowing and all of that fun stuff. So after all of that, no, they could hear you. They just couldn't hear you for that one, like, few seconds. After that, they definitely could hear you. But there was a couple seconds there where I was on the wrong scene, had to come back. So anyway, after 5 hours, I was dead tired. I'm hurting from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. You probably can't see it on camera, but I'm totally sunburned because it was bright and beautiful today. And I was like, well, I'm already a complete mess. I might as well wash my wife's car. And so decided to wash my wife's car, and then decided to wash mine, and then decided to clean out the shed. What am I doing? I'm exhausted. So anyway, that's enough of my crying. Let me get over here and look at a couple of these games. We're actually going to go to week number 5. And before we get out of here, the Commissioner's Corner is going to be about sim mode and comp mode. I know I've already talked about it, but I'm getting a little bit more feedback. So I just want to tell you what I'm thinking so we can continue these conversations, because there will be a vote at the end of season 100. Now that you've tested and tasted both comp mode for 3 seasons, sim mode for a full season, what do we do for the last one, season 101? Arizona beats Detroit 42-21. This was a CPU game. Carolina beats my Saints. If you tuned in on Friday morning, a drive to work game, and watched this one, this guy's just got my number. He just tons of pressure. I got zero pressure. Forced me into a bunch of tough plays. I cannot beat this guy. I don't know why. San Francisco beats Minnesota 37-13. New York Jets handled business against the Kansas City Chiefs 30-24. Don't look now, but Tim's got those New York Jets rolling. Green Bay falls to Houston. We talked about that game, 36-38. That's an instant classic. You guys better submit that as an instant classic. There's going to be a bunch of instant classic games added this week, so make sure that you tune in to the instant classic thread. Cincyburg falls to Denver in his Cincinnati Bengals 14-17. So the Cincinnati fan with the Cincinnati Bengals beat the other Cincinnati fan with the Washington football team, who used to be the Bengals, who won a Super Bowl in the OMFL with the Bengals. It melts my mind just a little bit when I think about it. Tennessee beats New England 21-18. That was a great game. The Chargers fall to the Browns 46-47. That was a great game. These are a couple instant classic games right there. They should be submitted. Pittsburgh beats up Baltimore 40-24. I don't know if that was a CPU game or not. That is a statement game from Jason and his Steelers. Jacksonville barely squeaks by the Buffalo Bills 25-18. The Rams beat the Eagles 38-28. Kevin told me about this game. He said, I just couldn't get out of the pressure. I just kept throwing too many interceptions. Modeli and the Seahawks beat the Duvall and the Bears 35-28. The Vegas Raiders fall to his buddy, the Broncos 35-23. These guys are actually college basketball teammates, close friends, hang out all the time, even though they live in different places now. But our guys go and visit each other. I think that's super cool. Dallas and the CPU. I don't know. Kobe, tell me in chat. I think this was a CPU game. 30-11, so a statement game for Atlanta. I will play my CPU game tomorrow. I don't know. I'll look. I'm dead tired. The idea of staying up tonight sounds brutal. The Colts beat the Miami Dolphins 31-14. This was a CPU game. I don't know where Steve is. I don't want to boot Steve, but it's been over a week. He hasn't played any games. He's not answering anybody. I hope nothing happened to him. It's easy to think, oh, he's just ghosting us, but why would he? It just doesn't make sense. I just hope he's okay. Like, I don't know. If any of you know this guy, can reach out to him. I've done everything in my power. There's no reason to boot him right now because, to be honest, I don't think we have a player that's ready to step in here from the Deuce. Poor Deuce has given up everybody, and so I don't know what to do. This one's on the back burner for the rest of this week, human week, and then I got to make a decision, I guess, at the end of the week. Steve, I hope you're okay, man. New York Giants with a statement victory over Twinkie and his Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31-21, and that is around the OMFL through week number 5. We're in week number 6 right now. A lot of really great games left to be played. I can't wait to see the Giants and Atlanta Falcons game. That would be a fun game to call. Does Miami finally get off the schneid against his buddy, in air quotes, outlaw, and the Buffalo Bills? The Seahawks and Green Bay Packers could be a really, really good game. 2 undefeated teams in Arizona and San Francisco. That would be a ton of fun to call. Some of these games may even be going on right now. I have no clue. I haven't been able to look at the thread all day. That would be a fun game. Minnesota and Chicago battling it out in the NFC North. That could be a really fun game. So a lot of really good games left to go here in the OMFL. And now it's time to do a little commissioner power rankings. So let me bring up the power rankings. Bam, there we go. Let's get over here. This is where we need them. And let's talk about a couple of these teams here. So my 5th team in the OMFL power rankings. Yes, there's no OMFL news because our guy Brady is neck deep into the basketball season and he just doesn't have time to do the news. But coming in at my 5th team, we've got a couple of new teams. We've got 3 new teams on the list. And team number 1, the Houston Texans and our guy Roger. The Houston Texans are 4th in offense at 32 points per game. They're 1st in total yards on offense at 419 yards per game, and 1st in passing offense at 326 yards per game. That is a great offensive turnaround. Our guy Roger is feeling better physically. Not 100% yet, but he's getting there. He's got the probably worst behind him. He's able to focus. I think some of the slider changes have helped his team play better, and he has got that team rolling offensively. Raj is going to be by team number 5 in the OMFL Commissioner Power Rankings. Team number 4 is another new team. Pepper, the New York Giants. Pepper is 9th in total offense at 31 points per game, 10th in yards per game on offense, 427, 6th in rushing yards per game at 160, 5th in defensive points allowed at 19 per game, 4th in total yards per game at 311, and 2nd in passing yards per game at 185 passing yards per game. Pepper has this team playing exceptionally well. They're sitting at 4-1, a big matchup against the 3-2 Atlanta Falcons. Of course, I love both these guys, but I got to pull for the New York Giants. I'm the Saints. What would I be doing to pull for the Atlanta Falcons? So the Giants and Pepper come in at number 4 on my list, very close to Roger and his Houston Texans, just more good stats, more better, I don't know, whatever the stats number is. Sorry, I keep rubbing my eyes. I've got sunburn and my contacts are like having the Sahara Desert in my eyes right now. They're so dry. Coming in at team number 3, Penguins and the San Francisco 49ers. He is 7th in offense at 32 points per game. He is 3rd in defense at 17 points per game. third in defensive yards allowed at 281, seventh in passing yards allowed at 201, second in rushing yards allowed at 80. Penguins good at defense? Who would have thought? That's what this guy does really well, and he's got this team rolling on the defensive side. I told you it would not take him long to turn this team around. He's now sitting at 5-0, one of the best matchups that we could ask for. Two 5-0 teams. They're going to do battle. This one will be really, really fun to watch. I don't know when you guys are playing, but I'd love to try to call that game. I don't know if it'll be possible, but it'll be a really good one. Coming in at number 2, well, it's a team that we've seen here quite some time. It's going to be D-Money and the Arizona Cardinals coming in at number 2. He is second on offense at 36 points per game, 13th in yards per game on offense at 389. He's fourth. I don't think that's right. I think that's third. I don't think 13th is right. He's fourth in yards, or rushing yards per game at 172. Second in total defensive points allowed at 16. He's second in yards on defense allowed at 264. He's third at passing yards allowed at 186, and first at rushing yards allowed at 78. This guy plays spectacular defense, and then on offense, he's putting up 36 points per game, 389 yards per game, and 172 yards per game. He's running the ball, he's stopping the run, he's causing turnovers, he's scoring tons of points, he's not allowing a lot. This might be a defensive battle between these two teams in week number 6. We might see an 18-21 game. Both of them have a lot of offensive firepower, but we could see both of these defenses playing really great defense because they both stop the run, number 1 and number 2, in stopping the run. And then coming in at number 1, well, there's no way I could remove this guy. I mean, how could you remove the Jacksonville Jaguars and Brady? He's undefeated again. He's a 2-time back-to-back OMFL champion. There's no way that I could not have him at number 1 on my list. Now let's talk about his team. He's 6th at points per game at 32 points per game, 9th in yards per game at 361, 10th in passing yards per game at 226, 5th in rushing yards per game at 134. On defense, he's 4th in defensive points allowed at 19 per game, and 4th at rushing yards allowed at 68 yards per game. So a lot of good defense being played, but since the shift in modes, his offense has played much better. They seem to be much more explosive. And the Jacksonville Jaguars are still undefeated, still champion. And to me, until someone knocks him off of that pedestal, there's no way that we can put somebody in front of him. I know the argument could be made. If this were college football rankings, the 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals would have both received votes for first place. But I just don't think that they deserve it because Brady is the champion. Nothing has stopped that. Nothing has changed that. And he is still at the tippy top at the list. And that is your Nate's OMFL Commissioner Power Rankings for week number 6 here in the OMFL. Now, let's go check out some, what are we checking out? Some owner submitted questions. That's what we're going to go check out. So let's see if we can get over here. We're going to open up this one. This is the one that we want. Let's interact with it. Let's see what happens. There we go. I make no promises that there are even any questions. We have not had questions in quite some time. So if not, make sure to put some right here in the chat and we can talk about them. Let me see if there are any questions. I don't have any questions. So it looks like the owner submitted questions. You guys are slow in the mailbag. What happened to the mailbag? Every week we would have 3 to 6 different questions in the mailbag. What has happened to the mailbag? Is someone stealing your mail? Do your fingers hurt? Do you guys have no questions? What has happened to the mailbag? I cannot believe it. Make sure that if you've got some mailbag questions, you put them in there. Okay, Kobe, all right, I'm glad you said that. Let me go check. Maybe I need to refresh. So let's do that. Let's do a little refresh. Let's interact. Any Kobe? I'm not seeing him. Let's see if I do this and this, and then we'll take this out. Let's see what happens here. It's telling me to select a page and then won't let me select a page. What is wrong with you? All right, we're going to have to go through all 20 of these pages. That's going to be brutal. All right, let me try something else. Let's go. What if we did this? What if we did this and then went 20 and hit that? Would that work? Nope, that doesn't work. Okay. I don't feel like going through all the pages. Go check and see if they're there. I know it says log in, but it doesn't matter if I log in or don't log in. They should still be there. But let me go ahead and see if it'll let me log in. All right, log in. I don't even know if this is my password. That is the password. All right, I gotta go through all 20 pages. Oh my God, this contact needs to be ripped out of my face. Okay, let's try this. You guys are saying there's questions. We're going to do this. This will bring us to the last one. I know it will. This is terrible stream material, but no, that didn't work. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go out, and then we're going to come back in. Go to the next page. Oh, well, that's weird. Okay, we do have some questions. Thank you, guys. I don't know why I did that. All right. Did the Packers, Bears, and Vikings let a golden opportunity to win the NFC North slip away? Absolutely. But I don't know that you can blame any of them. I would say the Packers had the best opportunity. Priest was here on the show tonight, and I think that because you got a new quarterback, you got a stud rookie running back, you're playing the CPU, the Lions are going to, start in a hole to start the season. You have a chance to jump out there early. The interceptions got him. We didn't go back to talk about it, but I think Burrow's got 8 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, and his defense just has not played well. His running game is there, and he's even admitted he's thrown too many interceptions because he gets away from the run, and then when he focuses back on the run, his team plays really well. So I think the Packers let the biggest opportunity slip between their fingers. The Vikings and the Bears are both like new owners with new teams and getting used to the rules and just like all of the things. It's hard to jump out and just start competing in a pretty tough division, in a pretty tough league. Look, we've got some good teams here, some good owners. I don't know that anyone here is a pushover. Every time I think that there might be somebody who just, isn't that great of a player, I end up losing to them. Like, that's usually how it happens. I don't think there's any pushover players here. Of course, there's some guys that win more than others, but you better earn it every single time you step on the field. Those teams just have not had a lot of time to do that. I think the Packers let the biggest opportunity slip between their fingers, and now we got a race. And Trey, you equally are going to have no restrictions. You're stepping into a race that you're right in the heat of it, and so you have an opportunity to take back over. Number 2, how did you think the sim engine has run since we made the flip? Are certain teams playing better than they should because of it, or is adding in random events making games more interesting? I'm going to lean towards the more interesting. Now, sim mode is random, and there was definitely a crowd here that wanted sim mode. That's why I gave it to you. I thought it was, we did 3 seasons on comp mode. It was worth giving up a season or 2 on sim mode. I just think it's fair. And so it may not be. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I feel like, hey, 1 season, it might be the last. Let's go sim mode. That's not abnormal from anything that we've ever done. The last 3 Maddens, the last season, we've always tried a different mode. And so this was going to be no different. We actually have 1 more season to go, so we can decide which one that we like the best. And so I think that randomness is annoying. I don't enjoy the randomness. My team has led the OMFL in sacks in the first 4 seasons. Last week didn't even get within a hair of getting a sack of the Carolina Panthers. That's the randomness that happens. I just don't enjoy the game deciding these portions of your team are not going to play well. Literally, a 98 left tackle was giving up sacks to Brian Burns. Granted, Brian Burns is amazing. He's a 98 left tackle. Like, he's the best left tackle in the game. You can't stop a linebacker? Instant pressure. And so, I do think the dropped interceptions have been good. That has kept games closer. I do think having receivers go make plays on the ball is nice to see. I do like having penalties. We don't see a ton of them, but I do like having some. And then the randomness is something I don't like. And so I don't hate everything about sim mode, but I don't love everything about it. And I think it definitely has given us good games. Looking at the scores, I mean, Brady isn't blowing people away. He's undefeated. He's not blowing people away. There's some tight, close games there. And that's fun to me to see. Look, on my power rankings, Giants, Texans, 49ers. These are new teams that we haven't seen there before. Panthers are sitting at 4-2. I'm trying to scan really quick. Texas, Houston Texans, they're sitting at 4-2. Giants sitting at 4-1. My Saints sitting at 4-1. Chargers sitting at 4-2. Browns sitting at 4-2. These are some teams we haven't seen in there consistently, and now they are. Now, this is early. It's week 6. Let's see where we are in week 10 before we make a call here. But I think it definitely has created some new momentum, some new fun, and given us some close games. And scanning this week, they're all close games. They were all good close games. The Lions end up running away with it late by 11. But that's a close game. We're not seeing these like 42-10 games. You know, we're not seeing these craziness of games. Now, I will admit the 35, the 34, the 30, the 44, the 48. I don't love those high scores. And I'm going to keep an eye on that. That's something that makes me nervous, is seeing these super high scores. But overall, I think it's been good for the league. All right, let's go to Kobe's. Who are your favorite owners to watch play games? Be it for their gameplay, lively voice, or antics. I don't know who my favorites are. There's not a lot of guys on voice often. And the few that I've heard on voice make me click off quicker than they make me watch. I think I love watching Rodgers games because I'm pulling for him. He just feels like an underdog, and all that he's been through, and just being able to personally get to know him and someone I consider a friend and call a friend. I'm always pulling for him. I'm trying to just scan through. I think I always like watching Kobe's games because he wins so many and he does things in a very unique way. I'm always learning. I don't get to watch a ton of them. I like watching Jason's games and the Steelers because he plays cornerback often. I think I haven't watched some in a while, but that's always just a neat twist. I don't know. I don't get to watch a ton of games. It's something I have been working actively to do better this Madden. And I don't know that I'm hitting the mark, but there's definitely some teams I would like to watch. I like calling any game that's just close. I also like calling games of just people like, I can just be me. Just let me call the game. Just let me call what I see. Let me have an opinion. And that's been a challenge sometimes. And sometimes people, again, I think, take everything I say to heart, even if I'm just trying to be entertaining or fun or have an opinion, for God's sake. It's made me rethink. But I'm about to come this week. I plan on doing an OMFL watch along, where I go find one of these games and watch it and just give FPR comments. Maybe we just watch a classic game. That would probably be a fun thing to do. I'm trying to find some games to call commentary, but as you guys know, by the time I get on, it's late, and most of you are in bed, and the handful that are not in bed, you're probably a quarter deep. So I just got to get better at finding games that I can call. But great question. What is something that you think should be talked about more in the league? I just think, period, the story. Like, that's really hit me this year, is like, I want to be a better storyteller. It's just terror. That's not what I meant to say. Teller. Just in life, in my job, in my church, and all the content that I make, I want to be a better storyteller. And I stumbled upon a guy that's called Good Game Bro on YouTube. I think he's a Facebook streamer, but puts out YouTube videos, Twitter. He's got a great voice, number one. He's got like a radio voice that I'm so jealous about. But his content is so entertaining, and he gave me like a new twist on adding commentary to your own game while you play. So it's easy to like put on one of y'all's games and call it and just try to be fun. And one of the things I'm learning is that, like, don't call what people can just figure out. Like, don't call like it's 1st and 10 with 432. Like, an occasional update's fine, but like people can read that, they can see that stuff. Like, call the action. And so adding commentary to my games while I play has been a new twist, and it's a way that I can tell the story about the game I'm playing. And I think trying to be a better storyteller about the OMFL and about your teams is just something that's lacking. Like, tell us a story. Is it a rookie that you drafted? Is it a free agent that you picked up? Is it you overcoming the obstacles, a new playbook? Like, what are the stories there? And that's what I'm trying to do in my interviews. It's just like story, story, story. So I think one of the things that should be talked about more is stories. People should tell us stories about their team more often. That's a great question. What important with important I'm struggling with this one today because I think I fried my brain outside. I think he's saying with the last important season around the corner and with all the current NFL knowledge right now. Come on, Kobe. Don't put R in. Spell that out. We're adults. Who are you leaning on bringing with you? As of right now, I'm bringing cornerback Devon Royals. That's a great question. I don't think I have one. I think I am learning from the guys who go out. Now, if you do great in the last season, it's hard to do this, but I appreciate the guys who draft their import and bring them over on a rookie contract. You don't have any of the sexy things for them, but you get a young rookie contract player that you can build up. I think the Saints are going to bring back Jameis Winston. They've made some defensive tackle additions. I like my linebackers. So I'm leaning towards one of my linebackers, especially my rookie middle linebacker. I really, really like him. I love my receivers. So linebacker, receiver, those are the two positions. I think for me personally, it would be my rookie, Logan, I think is his name, middle linebacker, who's played Logan Rhodes. He's played out of his mind. He would be hard not to bring, but of course, I am deeply in love with my wide receiver, Hopkins. This guy gives me all of the Forbes vibes that I could ever have. Forbes is the receiver that I put in the Hall of Fame. Had a great career here. This guy gives me all of his vibes. He's a playmaker, and if I could just like getting the ball more often, he would make way more plays. So I will shoot for the stars. probably a quarterback, depending on what the Saints do in the NFL draft. Probably shoot for the stars in the last draft at a quarterback. If that doesn't work out, it'll be one of these two guys. Or maybe I'll just change the rules and take them both with me. I'm not going to do that. But it hurts me that I can't have them both because I like them both. They're really good players. So I think that's going to bring us to the last segment. There's so much going to chat. It feels so good to see the chat popping off like this. Guys, do me a favor. Close the chat. Hit the like button. Open the chat back up. It helps us out a ton. But it just feels good to have you guys back around. So, like the last 2 months of Press Pass Live, I've been by myself. So, I appreciate you guys being here. So, let's talk about it. Sim mode, comp mode. I'm not going to rehash all of the stuff that I said on the last couple of Press Pass Lives about why we switched, about why we are doing what we're doing. Look, I mean, it's not a secret. I'll show you the sliders. There's photos of these on the website. We're still messing with a couple things. Quarterback accuracy. Still kind of watching this. This has changed. This started out at 7 in week 1. It's gotten its way up to 25. Don't know. Pass blocking started out at 100. Remember, this one's kind of reverse. So the higher the number, the more pressure. The lower the number, the least amount of pressure. So at 100, it was like as much pressure as you could get. And I liked it. But we were seeing the quarterback accuracy numbers low. And we think it was because the pressure was too high. So we lowered it at 2 points, raised the quarterback accuracy, and we're just letting this play out over the next advance or two. I'm watching all of the stats every time you guys play, and then we lowered the interceptions even more. I got a little feedback that it still felt like a lot of interceptions were getting caught. I can tell you now, I don't know if 12 is the number. It's probably going to go to 13 because I dropped 6 against the Panthers, and that completely changed that game. And that's the thing about Sim mode that I don't like. He caught all of them. I caught none of them. He blew me out of the water. So that's one that's always going to be there. But I think the big thing with Sim mode here is it's what are we looking for? I'm looking for competitive games. I'm looking for the most balance in gameplay that we can get, and where everyone has a fair shake, where user skills can shine, but equally play calling skills can shine. And we can see a balance in both of those. I'm sorry I keep wiping my eyes here, y'all. It feels like there's a dragon sucking out moisture of my eyes right now, but I need to drink more water here. It's hard to drink and not talk at the same time. So what I'm saying is, I think that there's a lot of opportunities for new teams to get some time in, for some teams that we don't always get to see compete a little bit more, and it has rocked the boat. Some guys have not made the switch well. Bill has not enjoyed it. I hear you, Bill. I love you, Bill. Just stick with me, bro. Please, just hang in there, because there were people who hated comp mode, and they hung in there with 3 seasons. And honestly, I didn't get a ton of blowback. The guys who didn't like it made their peace, and then they stepped back and they played it. I'm just asking for some patience, and we're going to put up, everyone's going to get a vote. So at the end of the season, I will push for 100% votes from the league, and we will vote on, do we go comp mode, back to comp mode for season 101, or do we stay on sim mode for season 101? So we will see exactly how this plays out, and everybody's going to have an opportunity. Everybody's going to have an opportunity. That's the thing, Pepper. That's a great point. Comp mode, it is what the stats matter. And again, yes, I don't think the mode was made for MUT and for the competitive Madden that we see, but I think it's definitely why they use it, right? Because it is, and maybe now that I'm saying it, I feel like an idiot. You guys are probably right. It probably was made for them. And so it's the stick skills. Why can't I talk? I'm tired. Stick skills matter the most because the teams are going to be pretty even. And so they want stick skills to matter and play calling. And we kind of want that too, right? We want stick skills to matter. I'm not trying to dumb down every good stick skill player, but I'm also trying to make play calling matter. And the problem is GMing kind of took a step back a little bit on comp mode. And if you made a mistake, it was a turnover. And if you didn't make a mistake and you shined, then you played really good and your record would show. Sim mode gives a bit of a buffer. You're gonna see more dropped interceptions, which we should. I mean, cornerbacks don't catch everything. That's a reason they play cornerback and not receiver. I think some would debate with me, and I think Raj might be one of them. And I'm not saying that Raj is right or I'm wrong or I'm right or Raj is wrong. I just think the safety play is dumbed down a little bit. I think they still play amazing, but like that craziness that we would see in comp mode where guys would go one side of the field to the other, that isn't as much in the sim mode. And I think there was a bigger problem, and Trey and I had lots of conversations around this. Penguins and I had lots of conversations around this. I don't know that we've seen enough gameplay to get accurate feedback on this, but it felt like play calling had just become boring. Like you're just seeing the same stuff over and over because, again, comp mode, you would figure out what worked and you just run that. And there were some things you couldn't run. Like Nate was not going to run a post route in comp mode. Like, I'm not throwing a free pick. Like it just never worked. And so sim mode opened up a lot more routes. And I think we're seeing, at least it's early, but in the games I'm watching, it feels like there's a variety in play calling. And that's really nice to see. So I'm trying to run through these real quick. Anybody know when that Cardinals game is getting played? That would be a fun one to call. That's funny, Raj. Well, guys, I think that's going to bring us to the end of the show. We went an hour and 7 minutes, matter of fact. So we're still a good long show, but not too long. Let's get over here. Guys, I love you and I appreciate you, and I appreciate the energy. It feels like the energy is getting positive, and I know the summer's here. I know guys are going to get busy. Brady's busy. Pepper, I think, gets really busy during the summer. Maybe not business-wise, but like vacations happen and summer things happen and people want to get out of the house. So I get it. I get it. 2 more seasons. This one, half of this one, and 1 more season. And then you can take a break. Just hang in with me, guys, and go tell a story. Tell us a story about your team. A 4-sentence article once a week. A 3-minute video. Like, you got to stream your games anyway. Just plug in your mic. There's a mic built in on the... Just hit unmute and talk to your microphone in your controller and stream a video for 3 minutes telling a story about your team. Like, any of that content is really, really, really good. And so I would love to see it. And I'm encouraging you all to tell us stories about your team. And let's just keep having fun. And this has been a tough Madden. And we don't have a glob of owners. Little Koch and the board and the deuce is just had their teeth punched in. And it's been tough. But we're here. We're doing it, and it's season 100, and I love the chat tonight, and I love all the things, man. It's been really great. Yeah, 9 p.m. East is too early for me. I wish I could. They're just too early. That's why I don't get to call many games unless they happen like in the morning, or they happen like early afternoon, or they happen late at night. It's just 9 p.m. East is too early. I don't get on until 9:30 Central, the earliest. 9 Central earliest, 9:30 usually, and some nights it's 10 if the wife is not feeling it. So, hey, I love you. You matter, and I appreciate you being here, and I cannot wait to see you again on the next one. So take care of yourself this week. We'll see you on the next one.
Smash that like and subscribe.